Well, this thing says I'm lying.
I hope you're alive.
I mean, I'm a know-it-all, so I should know, but it says I'm lying, so I should be lying, but what do I know? Folks, it's funny. Now, it has bothered me because I took up myself and defended myself against something, and, you know, the way I've been conditioned for the majority of my life, I always feel bad for having defended myself against somebody who's got their head up their butt. I'll just put it that way. Reverend Dream, howdy.
Hey, Reverend.
Melinda, just me, Aline, of course, is in here. Mama Linda's in here. Joe Fish, you. I saw Backtrack Hooligan's in here.
Yeah, Backtrack said he'd be back.
Okay. He said, hey, I'll be that way. I think he knows where I'm going with all this. I think most of them in here already do anyhow. They're pretty smart people in here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Mama Linda. It says I am. You know, I'm supposed to be a know-it-all, so I should know, you know, but...
Hi, Tamara with Heartland HQ.
Heartland HQ with Dank and Tank.
Mm-hmm.
Backtrack, there he is.
I told you he'd be back.
Yep. Well, he said he would. He's a man of his word.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was feeling bad. I decided to go ahead and trim up and clean up, shave my bald head and all like that. Try to feel a little bit better. But yeah, through conditioning over the decades, you know, I always feel bad when I buck up and get mad and defend myself against horse hockey. And I guess that's why they call you Backtrack, huh? Anyhow, I'll try to give you part of the situation without detailing out anything in particular. There's one issue in the back, and I got to tell you, it wasn't appreciated that I wrapped something and insulated a bucket to put over on top of that to keep from a bad situation occurring through certain types of months. Yeah, I know, it's strange, ain't it, Mama Linda? But anyhow, and I also keep something vital to operate that thing off of it when not in use. Because at one point I found it kept getting turned on just enough. I'd go turn it off, and the next day I'd find it turned on just enough. I'd turn it off, and that went on for a while. I finally took that vital piece off of that thing so that it would stay the way I need it to stay. And, well, because of things going on, that particular item is needed, so true to form, without it, you know, talking to me about anything, it's gotten into, and I get asked what that particular part is. I close the door, I come in, I get it, take it back out there. Well, it wasn't appreciated that I do that. Then I got told, well, it won't do this and this. And I said, well, I know it will because I've had to fix it. Well, I know it won't do it. Now, folks, is that not calling me a liar without using the word liar? And when confronted, you know, it finally boiled up. You know, a couple of days went by and then something else going on. And I actually got talked to politely and was asked the things I did know.
Hi, Rainy Ridge. Hi, Miss Susie Jacobson. Hi, Josie.
Josie, Susie.
And Rainy Ridge.
And Rainy Ridge. Hi, Rainy Ridge. And so everything going good on this other time. for a while. And then something else was still trying to be figured out. And I said, well, it's not just surface, it's underground as well. No, it don't do that. Folks, basic laws of physics and science and everything else being totally flipping denied. Common sense science stuff, folks.
Hi, Lindy Okie.
But anyway, because I said it, it had to be wrong. Is that not again calling me a liar without calling me a liar? I finally had enough. I was starting to get a little grub. Something was said, and I said, yeah, I tend to get that way when I get talked down to and as though I'm lying. Well, I didn't call you a liar. Yeah, you did. If you just walk away to something you don't want to hear, I said, yeah, I tend to do that. And, when somebody's talking down to me and calling me a liar. I did not call you a liar. Yeah, you did. You sure enough did. Obviously tells lies so much, you can't tell that they was telling a lie. And now this coming from the other half of a problem I've mentioned before. Not the one main problem, but the other half of it. Yeah, it sure is, Heartland. I was trying to be nice and respectful and all like that through it and trying to explain it, but everything I said that is scientifically and factually true was getting tossed out because according to them, they don't want it to be that way, so it ain't that way. Well, I'm sorry. A is A. 2 plus 2 equals 4, and 0 is 0. Then the Okie. No, she didn't change it. She made another one.
This is my second channel, my new channel. I've still got my cooking channel. This one, Just Me Eileen, does not have any cooking on it. It's about me, about my family, my thoughts, my faith, ride-alongs, whatever. But no cooking.
So, anywho, after that, I got told I was a know-it-all. Boy, you got some more kind of attitude. And I said, yeah, that happens when I get talked down to and called a liar. The problem is, it's a narcissist, don't know how to do nothing but tell lies, and they couldn't handle it when somebody buck up to them because, there might be a factor of a whole lot of this, and everybody bows down because a whole lot of this, and look at maybe getting some of a whole lot of this, because I'll tell you something else. Something about gas mileage came up once, and that person looked at me and said, gas mileage? I ain't worried about no gas mileage. Folks, only people with a whole bunch of this don't worry about gas mileage. That's a little clue as to what's what. Rainier Ridge, true, it does, but when you don't, you ain't got that many ethics about you, you get more than you should. You know what I'm saying? I think you know what I'm saying. I mean, I know I ain't talking to no dummies in here because a lot of y'all are smart ass and not a lot smarter than me. So, y'all know what I'm saying on that. Kind of like that old thing of tell me you loaded without telling me you loaded. Sandy Toes!
Hi, Sandy Toes!
Hey there, youngin'. So, but those are clues that let me do. That's right, Lynn. Lynn quick with it. We sure do. But, no, it can't, Linda. But some think it can. And some use that to lord it over others, and over time they become bullies in their narcissism.
Hi, Indiana Chris.
And think everybody should bow down to them, and what they say it is is. You know, it don't matter that facts and science say this because they say no or yes in contradiction to what is factual. They think everybody ought to toe the line and say that, yeah, that's what it is. Well, you know, like a lot of things that we don't agree with, I'm not going to partake of your delusion just because you want it to be that way. I can't do it. I'm about truth and facts. And Indiana Chris, howdy. And that's what I'm about. But I've never believed. I'll give you another example. The other half of that equation called once, wanting help with how to do something on the computer. I walked him through. By the end of it, I still don't understand. So here's what I did. I put a lane on the phone. And I walked a lane through, walking that person through the process, and they understood it just fine.
Hey, Pooch. Hey, County Walk.
Pooch! R&W. It was understood just fine then. But little did they know, I walked a lane through the process of walking that person through the process. Word for word. And it was understood then. Didn't use any words different than what it did when I was explaining it to that person. That should tell y'all a lot right there. And folks, I've had to put up with that for almost 60 years. There's a lot to it. I've been through a lot of crap. But I don't want nobody to feel sorry for me because the way I look at it, that was just what God's way of training me to be who I'm supposed to be. And he made me tough. Evidently, he thinks I can handle it. Well, he's got the reins, so all I got to do is ride along and hang on. I think I'm tough enough to do that.
Everybody driving, have a safe trip.
Well, and the thing is, that person never knew that I put a lane on there and guided her through it. That's the thing. I've never told them. They wouldn't believe me no how because they think I'm lying. They think everything I say is a lie. But it's kind of funny that I would get asked what I did know about certain things on a certain system. So, because they're wanting to get into that certain system and replacing things on it. Which means we might be down for no telling how long. Which means we might have to get jiggy and find a place. We ain't got no place to go, but I've done contacted a friend to see about maybe finding a place. Well, Heartland, Heartland, I know I'm just so awesome. I mean, I am a know-it-all after all. I've got some more kind of attitude, But no, I don't know about all that, Heartland. I'm just me. I'm going to spout the truth. I'm going to spout what I know, what I've seen, and what I've been told. And I'm not going to deviate from that. I have a hard time enough keeping track of my glasses, much less a bunch of lies. And the problem with people who do tell a bunch of lies, they get to where they mess themselves up because they forget what lies they told to who and how. Now, another thing that's funny about that one situation, what they said it would not and would not, they changed a little bit and said, well, it will do this, but it won't do that. I knew right then they knew I had them busted. But because people hate being wrong, especially abusive narcissistic personalities, they had to change it up and try to make it seem like it hadn't changed. I'm going to bet me $1,000 that it wouldn't do. Well, I said, no, it will do. I said, I'll do that. And I got thinking, no, I ain't going to do that. Not going to inconvenience myself to have to be without that certain commodity for however long it would take to get it working again and then find all the problems along that line and fix them. Especially since I can't get to where a lot of it is at and do so for two reasons. One, I'm a lot more plump than what I was when I could do it. And two, three things. Two, being disabled makes it hard. Now, if it was to where I could fit, I could still manage to do it. But access to that area has also been covered up to a point you cannot get to it because of all that infinite wisdom, So we're going to see about doing a thing. And now, just so y'all know, there is a strong possibility of some lurkers trying to spy in on what's up and what's not. And might get a knee-jerk reaction off of it. Very possible. And now I understand his name.
Mm-hmm.
How's that backtrack? Okay, I'm just fat. How's that?
Little short fat man, that's what you always say.
Little short fat man, that's what I am. I mean, come on, seriously. And folks, I used to be bigger after I got hurt. Because I blew up like a balloon. Got up to around 250 pounds. Right now, I'm sitting somewhere between 2 and 210, I think.
No, last
I checked, I was 180, 190, wasn't I?
Yeah, you're between 180 and 200.
So, somewhere in there. I'm losing weight. I just can't get it off my gut.
I keep feeding you.
But I don't eat much. Well, if I'm not plump, then what am I?
That's right, Sandy Toast. That's a food appreciation.
Hey, I like that.
I do too.
All bought and paid for, as my daddy would say. Yes, ma'am. If I ain't plump, backtrack, whatever. Oh, I know. I'm got some kind of attitude, know it all. I'm fairly decent intelligence. I do know a little bit of physics. I do know a little bit about the higher maths, not as much as I used to.
You ever dream you said he full of hot air?
So anyway, they making me laugh.
That's what they're here for.
I see this. But like I said earlier, don't feel sorry for me. If I told y'all half the things, y'all would be, oh, you poor thing. Well, I don't want to hear, oh, you poor thing. That's what God had for me to go through. I went through it. Here I am. I ain't got no sour grapes about it. You right there, Peach. Do you think I needed the extra room for that brain? Since I am a know-it-all and all, But I mean, it bothered me because I defended myself. Well, that's Pavlov's dog. I was conditioned to be like that over the last, until about the age of 45, maybe 35. And around 35, there was stuff going on. I was learning things that God was having me learn. Yeah, I would prefer a different university, but to be taught in. But well, that is true, Lynn. Oh, well, that is definitely true. She'll ask me what I want, and I'm like, you're putting me in front of a buffet that everything is just over the top, and you telling me I can't choose the one. How do you choose? I mean, really.
Oh.
Well, backtrack. I don't have a problem with waiting that area either.
Piggy got full padding all around.
I do. But I got a big old gut. I got a big old butt. You know, kind of rather more than hefty for a 5'4.5" frame. Now, I do have big bones. That's been proven. I saw an X-ray of my knees once. It looked like a caveman's club. I mean, that sucker is huge. You can do some damage with it. Rainy Ridge. Rainy Ridge, I saw you at that meetup. You don't look bad. Come on with that. Go on with it. Don't want to hear it. Nah. Well, it is if you only sit on it for an hour or two here, an hour or two there. Down at 9 Acre Family Farms.
Hey, Dale, welcome in.
So, anyway.
How do you get a bigger? You sit on it a lot, Sandy Toes. It causes it to spread.
Yeah, when you ain't got the energy and the command of your nerves like you used to. PSV!
Hey, Paul, welcome in.
You kind of tend to sit a lot. And if you ain't sitting, you're laying down. And I can't do a whole lot of laying down because I'll go to bed hurting and I'll get up hurting and I'll hurt a little bit through the day, but I have to get up and work the kinks out.
Hey, Mama Bear.
You know, that's just the life of a disabled man with nerve damage. That's part of the cost. What people don't get is that I see it as a blessing because when it happened, I was struggling. I've been out of work for a very, very long time, trying to make it. And I knew the Lord had something for me to do. And I told the Lord one day, I said, Lord, I know you got something for me to do, but I got to have an income in order to do what you want me to do. Bam, up under the chin with a half inch right angle drill. Sent me flying across the room and landed on my neck, and it finished off an injury that happened a long time ago. I've had several blows to the head. That fourth pugil stick fight I've talked about before is the only thing I got to compare to it. And I'm not sure which one I'd rather have done again because they both about up there. Alvin!
Well, Alvin Lewis, howdy there.
Dale, I ain't got a choice but to sit hard. But my knees are about one of the weakest parts of me. They were before the injury and they're worse now. Mm-hmm. So I go to sit, sometimes you hear bolt. But yeah, folks, that's something I experienced over this past week. 2 different incidences. And somebody totally denying science and physics and everything like that just because they want to see it a different way. And also because I said it so obviously it's a lie. Because they was told I was a liar and no good. And they went with it ever since. And I don't care about the money. I don't want nothing they got. Not a thing. I'm only still here because things hadn't worked out yet for me to get elsewhere. And I can guarantee you for a little more than 20 years this round, I've been looking for a way out of here ever since. And want to be gone more than I'm wanted to be gone. Far more. Trust me. I want to be somewhere where I'm off to myself, I don't bother nobody, don't want nobody bothering me, but those types of personalities are going to be, excuse the language, hell bent on finding you so they can keep bringing it to you. I know that to be a fact because I've had one part of that equation do that very thing. I got away. They come and found me and uh, immersed themselves back into my life, and then some stuff really got very bad. That they convinced somebody that they were supposed to have a little something that somebody else had, uh, everything, and oh yeah, there we went. But that too was just part of the plan God had for me to take me places He wanted me to be, to do the thing that He wanted me to do, and to learn some things that I needed to learn. So I did. Didn't have much choice. You know, I got God in the lane, and I got all y'all. You know, that's worth far more than riches. That's worth far more than money. You know, but again, those are things that had to be done. Skip Jack Sandy!
Hi, Sandy. Welcome in.
Those are things that had to be done in order to test me, mold me, break me, build me back up, break me again, and all that. And Elaine and I have been looking at houses and trailers and stuff for years, for in case of the day that we might have the opportunity to be able to get our own place. And I'm talking with a good friend right now. I've sent them a message. Y'all have heard me call her what I call her, and she's very close and dear to my heart. And she's in a position, that person's in a position to find things we wouldn't be able to find and work out things we wouldn't be able to work out. And it's going to mean some things that I'm going to have to do that I really would prefer not to have to do, but I'll do it anyway. The one thing I don't want to have to do so bad is one of the main things that's kept us back. But I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired.
All right, Tamara. Thank you.
Y'all have no idea how tired I am. I've been dead 3 times and would have been fine with staying. Had many other situations where I should have wound up dead. God brought me through them anyway. But folks, I'm tired. Uh, I'm an old warrior. I'm a warrior of and for God. I've been a warrior for this nation. That first time died was a massive heart attack. I've got proof right here. And among other things God was doing with that, it was giving this old warrior a rest. Just a little bit of a respite. Let my spirit breathe and rest a moment to keep me going. Then 2 more times, and then all the other things I've been through since. And and then becoming disabled and having to live that way, having to put up with what nerve disabled due to nerve damage means. And keep in mind the nerve damage was such I wasn't expected to live through surgery. I wasn't expected to move neck down if I did.
That's how we feel. Backtrack. God will provide for us.
That's it. And Lynn and I both have had the feeling that there's something fixing to happen. And, and not reaching out to this one person is being a little proactive in my faith. God's got a way for us. But I hate asking for help. It tears me up to ask for help. Sometimes you gotta, backtrack. Do you know about rockauto.com? But it tears me up to have to ask for help. We had some things that we was going to take to that one friend of ours and everything. One of those things was a little 50cc scooter. I managed to get that thing, my old van out there. A friend of mine got on to me for having done that, and I said, well, ain't nobody coming down there. Ain't nobody coming to get it. And so to bring it here, somebody got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm the only one. I did what I had to do. Yeah, and when I do any little thing, I'm going to pay for it for a while. I'm going to hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And I know I'm going to hurt. It's just like stepping into the ring with that big giant behemoth in my fourth pupil stick fight. I knew it was going to hurt. But I went in anyway. I knew I was going to lose the fight. But I went in anyway. I'm an old Marine. And having physical conditions even then that should have prevented me from being able to get into boot camp, much less to FMF, Fleet Marine Force. I had the heart enough to make it. And went into that ring and faced that big monster. And he had full use of his faculties. Eyes, ears, and all that. I've got bad hearing. I've got really bad eyesight. So I had to go in without my glasses. Because you can't wear your glasses in those fights. So I'm sitting here, a young man, literally half the size of this dude, and probably 3 times less strength than this dude. Backtrack, I don't know. That's the only thing I know of to try to offer to let you know about. I didn't know if you knew about them or not, but nothing ventured, nothing gained.
They may because Carl buys a lot of parts there.
Yeah, that's true, and he's in the racing.
Yeah, they have 3 different cars that they race on dirt track.
Yeah. So you might find something to help you out. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's different from dirt
But again,
track.
like I said, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah, dirt track and drag racing are 2 different things. I know that, but
right. But anyway, so I got that stuff up there to them, and after they got on to me, and I told them what it was, it's like they kind of hung their head a little bit. They felt bad for getting on to me because realizing at that point they could have come and got it, or at least could have come help put it in the van so I could take it up. But they didn't take that realization into account at the moment. And it's understandable. It takes a while to get used to somebody's limitations. Yeah, backtrack, 9 Acre. Anyway, as far as parts and working on cars and stuff, I've had to utilize that one option a few times. But then when we had the money to do it, we've had to take it to who we'd like to take it to in order to fix that which had been fixed by that other option.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just going for me. Don't have to worry about getting it right. Right? You know, uh, so hey, that's just life and the way it is. Things God has wanted me to learn and endure, so I know, so I pass it on. You know, but I ain't got no bitterness about it because, hey, this is how God has had for me to live. There's always a reason, and there's always a purpose for every reason. And, you know, I know some of the reason, and I know some of the purpose. Some people don't get that. I do. You know, uh, there is something about me that people have called me that I will not call of myself because I don't see myself that way. And it's not a bad thing, folks. It really ain't. It's far from it. But I don't see myself that way. And one who is seen that way cannot say it of themselves to begin with because it's not for them to say it. So, little hint at something right there. Let's just say God shows me things and tells me things at times. I'll just leave that right there. But we're going to do a thing. We're going to see if something can be worked out. Because I got a feeling when that one system is going to want to be looked at and tore out and replaced and everything, we're going to need somewhere to be for at least a couple of weeks, if that short a time. Like I said, Dale, I'm a warrior of and for God. They don't nothing get me riled up than somebody saying something wrong about God and the scripture. Elaine has seen what can happen when somebody tries to twist it up. The Holy Ghost gets a hold of my voice and I boom.
Yeah.
I don't normally boom. I don't have that kind of projection. There was this one day, boy, I was having some projection and there was some walls a shaking. And it's someplace better built than here. That's right, Linda. We've all had things to go through. And we don't cease to have things to go through till the day we die. Well, backtrack, I could agree with first half of that saying, but you wouldn't want the other half of that saying. Trust me. Because the other half of that saying didn't want me. I'm just saying. Elaine's probably got you, Dale.
No, I was looking for the link. He ain't got it up yet.
Oh.
That's why I was asking, because I was going to put the link up and I couldn't find it.
I trimmed up real good and took me a shower, tried to feel better, and at least maybe smell kind of human. And I thought about surprising y'all with showing up without a mask, but I ain't ready for that yet.
There's going to be a day Piggy going to be ready to do that.
There's going to be a day. Now, if I can work something out, I've also let it be known that if that little something can be worked out, that's what I do, Linda. That's a part of what God has me do. You know, He puts it on my heart, I speak it out. So I thought God before. Folks, I don't suggest or advise doing that. Trust me on that. Yeah, y'all remember Forrest Gump and Lieutenant Dan up on that boat, got up there and had it out with God. Folks, there was a time I did something just like that, and I made Lieutenant Dan look like an amateur. I had it out with God. He whooped my butt real good, let me tell you. It's like, okay, Lord, we came to an agreement. He puts it there, I speak it. He tells me or shows me, I speak it. Yes, Lord. You know, I'm kind of like the prophets and others of old. You know, I don't believe there's a God. I know there's a God.
Yeah.
Oh, Dale. You imagine a little grease ant trying to fight a 100-foot giant's foot. And that don't even come close to how bad.
Yes, ma'am, Sandy Toes.
Well, Sandy Toes, that was part of the agreement. I'm a warrior of and for him, and he's my commander. He gives the order, I fulfill it. So, well, yeah, Reverend Dream, and I can tell y'all that. I mean, like I said, I made Lieutenant Dan look like a freaking amateur. Not even an amateur. Great movie. Can't stand the main character or the main actor.
I love Gary Sinise.
You cannot define the undefinable, Dale. I mean, I could tell you a whole lot about it, a whole lot about him. But not yet, Linda. Not yet. Now, whether we become angels when we pass from this life or not, I don't know, but I don't think so. Angels are an entirely different creation. Entirely. And one of the differences between us and angels is that, yeah, angels can choose whether to leave their first estate or not. But they're already there. We're not. We have to choose God. For an angel, they'd have to choose to leave God. Oh, but Reverend Dream, are we really broken? Or are we just fashioned after what the Master has in mind for our purpose? We may see ourselves as broken. We may see ourselves as this or that. But God molds us into what He wants for His purpose. Oh, divine. Yeah, that'll make him laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it. And totally turn away. You are the only thing that can take yourself out of God's hand. You know, nothing or nobody being able to take you out of God's hand is only true to the point that you yourself can take you out of God's hands. Because you can choose to turn away. You ain't going to like it. Especially after you die, physically. But you can choose.
Cook something good, backtrack.
Well, Sandy tells a lot of them angels were a lot smarter than the other group of angels because they knew better. Their allegiance and loyalty was to God. They saw it for what it was from the get-go. A created being, created by God, decided he was going to ascend above God. And those angels that stayed and wasn't tempted to leave by that silver-tongued devil knew better. Okay. That which creates it all or one among the many creations that still in the end is going to have to answer to the creator of it all. That's right, Reverend Dream, free will. That is the only choice we have. But now, God being God, He knows the future as well as the past and everything in between. He wrote the program. It's literally like a computer program. And He wrote the program and hit enter. Let that program run. So He knows what we're going to do in the end, all the way up until all this whole thing is done. Even after the 1,000-year reign of Jesus on the new heaven and new earth, and after that, so we're literally living a history that's already been written. It's already been written. Little temporal mechanics for y'all there. Hope I don't wreck your brains with it. You know, because what's going to happen is, all right, God created the whole thing. He can look at the whole thing at one time. He knows past, present, future of everything from the very beginning to the very end. And He can be at any one point in between that while being everywhere at the same time. Well, Reverend Dream, he wrote that map. So he knew us, so He knows how we are. Sandy Toes, there's always a reason and a purpose for every reason. You know, I've got a cynical side too. But I have found, like Einstein said, God first, then you can have all your little theories. Because if you ain't got God in the equation, you might as well go back to the drawing board because you're going to wind up doing that anyway. God already wrote the program. He done wrote the book. It's already a done deal. Done, 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 done. Bottom line, ain't no question about it. It's a done deal. God knowing us the way He knows it. Yeah, you can go to a psychologist and they can pretty well peg your personality and how you are and how you do and this, that, and the other thing. Well, if a psychologist can learn that about people, then how much more does God know about the people He created? Mm-hmm. That's right, Reverend. It's finished. Jesus said it on the cross. It is finished. The purpose had been served. The reason for that purpose had been served. It was done then. How's that, backtrack? I got the perfect thing for you. You set the timing on a motor. Sometimes they set it back just a little, right? Now, I don't remember why that's done. Sometimes they advance that timing. And see, God can advance or back up that timing on a universal scale. You're right, Sandy. And all I do is believe and trust God for God's will to occur. Like I told a young man once, what is has to be because it's already been done. Backtrack, what I discovered even when I was running, you're going to follow His map, whether you think you are or not.
Yep.
And you can wind up lost. But if you are of a true heart that sincerely desires God, all you have to do is just turn around. There He is. He ain't gone nowhere. You cannot get away from God. No matter where you run, how fast you run, it don't matter because God's going to be there. And the reason God's going to be there is because all of this, all matter, is made from the energy of God's pure love. So when it says that our bodies are not our own, it is a very literal statement. Because these bodies, like everything else, is made up of God's pure love. His name is stamped on our DNA. The protein molecule called lanolin, they also call the Jesus molecule. It looks like a little J with a T bar on it. And what that little protein molecule does is the glue that holds our bodies together. I saw the video and that blew me away, but it explains so much.
Mm-hmm.
He literally is the glue that holds us together. No matter where we go, how we go, why we go, he is literally the glue that holds us together. His name is stamped in our DNA. When we breathe, the sound of his name comes out. In is Yah, out is way. I mean, God is written all over us. And I do mean all over us. Yeah, Reverend, he is. Well, Sandy Toes, in a way I could envy you. He gave me a brain that wants to know. Because in that fight that I had with him where I'm, okay, you know, you give it to me, I speak it. I told him this. I said, if I burn, I burn. But I got to know the truth. In the next instant, I fell back into a chair I was standing in front of. Totally out of control. I couldn't handle it. Because he took a lot of things I already knew and he put them together in one picture, and I was like, he showed me with things I already knew. And at that time, that was all my little brain could handle. In later years, he'd show me a little more, show me a little more, show me a little more, show me a little more. Went to ITT to learn a little bit about computer engineering and electronics. Got an associate's degree in it. That wasn't going to work out for me. I got the degree. I'm so far out of date, you know, it's as if I hadn't went. I still remember a few things. But because of what God was showing me, and nobody was wanting to listen to me anyhow, so I didn't have no use for it. So between that and things God was showing me, I had to chunk all of it. Just let it go. Like they say, it's practice. If you don't practice, you'll lose it. Well, I lost it because I wasn't practicing it. I didn't need to know how because God had other things in mind for me. You know, just like he did to Moses. Moses was 40 years old when he was tossed out into the desert, thought to be going to die. And 40 years later, God had emptied him of all previous knowledge and filled him with what he could handle of God's knowledge. Sandy tells the earth is beautiful, and he did create it beautifully. I can tell you for a fact. All of this, earth, the universe as we know it, to God ain't nothing but a haphazard brushstroke against a plain canvas. The masterpiece is on the next page. He didn't let me see the next page. I wouldn't have been able to handle it. It'd have been too much, especially considering that heaven is infinite. It does not end. That's why this universe was postulated by one young physicist that what we know of as a universe is not a universe, because universe, by definition, is something that has no limits, no barriers. Well, guess what? Universe as we know it has boundaries. So what this is more like a string in the universe. Well, Sandy, he's got something for all of us. And this is what he has for me to understand. And he has things for you to understand that I don't. So we're all a vessel and a tool designed by him to do what we have been purposed to do. You can't handle what I'm talking about. That's fine. There ain't nothing wrong with that, because I'm going to tell you what, there's times I wonder why he thinks I can. Because I'm not a highly educated brainiac. I'm not Ivy League. Told that to my main professor in ITT one time. I said, yeah, this one teacher, all right, Sandy, be waiting on you. Told him, you got this other guy trying to teach us stuff, but he's so far beyond us, and he treats us like we're Ivy League. He throws it at us, tells us to read it, figure it out, do the work, and get back to it. I told the main professor, I said, we're not Ivy League. That's why we're here. Have somebody explain it to us so that we can learn it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what God will do with each of us. We get personal tutoring from God if we allow him. But he will tutor you in what it is he has for you to know. Dale at 9 acres. He's good with scripture and verse. And God puts things on his heart in a way that's geared for how Dale is. That's the main reason why I like Dale as much as I do. I love Dale. And it's because I know he's legitimate, because he's speaking it the way it's coming to him. And he goes with it because he knows that's coming from God. And I can tell it's coming from God. That's why Dale's got the goods, as I like to say. Folks, when I say got the goods, I'm talking about the Holy Spirit. No, you don't have to speak in tongues as proof of having the Holy Spirit. There are some who believe that you have to be able to speak in tongues in order to prove that you got the Holy Spirit. No. Like one little girl at ITT, she was trying to explain something one day in class, and I asked the professor, who happened to be the assistant dean, if I could speak. So I looked at that little girl, and I described to her exactly what was in her brain. I saw the image that she saw in her brain and the feeling that she had in that image and all the whys and questions that she had in that image. And by the time I got done, everybody was looking at me like, huh? Especially that little girl. She told me later, she said, you told exactly how I saw. Exactly. Now, how could I know that? I can't. God can. Of course, my assistant named and asked me what my major was, and I told her, and she said, have you ever considered changing that to motivational speaker? I'm like, well, no. Oh, not just talking to me, Dale. He showed me. He showed me that little girl in her own mind, the image that she had of herself in her own mind. And I detailed it out. I was speaking what I was shown. As far as I know, from what I remember, that little girl went on to do really good in school and with that degree that she was going for. And there was another little girl that he had me speak to once too. Not as in depth, but just letting her know that she'd been heard. So I asked her, I said, "You pray?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I've been told to let you know you've been heard." And she looked at me so funny. But from that day forth, she blossomed. I think she became the valedictorian of her major and all sorts of other stuff, other awards, everything. That's right, Melinda. Sometimes, like he does with me, he'll shoot it in my head like a bolt of lightning. It's like, okay. You know, and if we let him, we can all have that. Just for me, sometimes the things he puts in my head is so massive that I have a hard time reaching out to grasp it and understand it. There came a time when I stopped trying to understand it so much as explain what I've been shown. And over time, he explains it to me in his way. Yeah, so anywho, we got a thing we're going to look into doing. I'm going to be proactive on my faith, my knowing God, not just believing in him, knowing that he is there. And see what might happen. You know, we know God's going to do something for us, but it might just be that he's been waiting on me. Say, okay, I'm tired of all that. Now I don't care about this and that holding me back. I'm tired. And walk out on that ledge on faith. Say, all right, God, I know you got something for me. I'm ready. I'm tired. I'm ready to be somewhere where I can move up and not keep being held back. Joy, I covered that in another video I did called Terms of Service.
Sampy, hey, Mr.
Sampy! So, anyhow, all right, we can do that. Now, you want to take care of that in your life? You're real good at it. We'll be praying too, backtrack, but I love the sincerity of Dell's prayers. She's in there somewhere, Linda.
Yeah.
There she is. But
yeah, we'll definitely keep Miss Jessica in our prayers. I saw Miss Joy fix something good for her and Mr. Scott the other night, and I was about ready to crawl through the screen to get to it.
Which one was it?
It was them egg McMuffin things with the bacon and the sausage.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was wishing we was in Star Trek and had a transporter. Made my tummy jump.
Mm-hmm.
I won't.
I've been seeing all this cooking she's been doing, and I'm like, oh man.
Right? My problem is, even if I could get to it, I'm already full on something else, and I wouldn't be able to eat it because I'm already full. I
That's my
can't eat like I
problem.
used to. So,
And y'all, don't forget, if you hadn't checked out the new channel, please do so.
just me, Eileen.
That's it.
Well, folks, seems like I've lost the impetus. And I've lost that particular energy. It's gone. So, something else. Either something else, or we'll just end it, get ready for Dale, and everything. And my mind right now is on whether or not we can work a thing. And because that's the thing God had in mind, it'll work out. If not, it won't. That's all I know. But I have trust and faith and knowledge that whatever is to be will be. I mean, that's just all there is to it. So what do you think? We shut it down?
Ken, I can fix bite supper if you're hungry. If not, I'll fix something.
I'm getting that way.
Okay.
That's another thing distracting me. So, folks, I'm going to tell you, thanks, Dale. And, like I said, I'm tired. I'm ready. More than ready. I'm just that tired. Bye, Melinda. Y'all, Piggy loves you.